the oneness of all existence. Do you want to hear about a life-changing experience where someone faced drowning and discovered a mind-blowing secret about the interconnectedness of all existence? Join me as we explore a story that started at a small swimming spot in Ohio. In this YouTube intro, we'll unravel a tale of survival and profound insights learned from a near-death encounter. It's not just a story, it's a journey through life's deeper meanings and lessons. Get ready for a burst of emotions and a fascinating exploration of existence on Mindspace. Welcome, everyone. My love for swimming, or NDE, traces back to when I was about 7 years old. It all began at a small swimming spot in the countryside of Ohio, near the Appalachian Mountains bordering West Virginia. This area was known to the locals, including my mother who grew up there. The swimming spot was basically a man-made pond with a platform in the center. My routine as a 7-year-old involved using my basic doggy paddle skills to reach the platform and return to the shore. The area had a lifeguard keeping an eye on the few families enjoying their day by the pond. One day, a girl my age caught my eye as she confidently jumped off the deeper side of the platform. Fueled by determination, I decided to follow suit. Little did I know, that side was not only deeper, but also where the girl could swim. As I attempted, I quickly realized the depth was beyond my calculations. Unlike my usual jumps, I struggled to resurface, taking in water with each attempt to breathe. Panic set in as I tried to scream for help while gasping. Unfortunately, screaming and inhaling at the same time proved impossible. The situation escalated as I continued this desperate cycle, spending more time underwater and filling my lungs with water. The drowning process had started, and fear intensified with each failed attempt to break free from the water's grasp. I began to grasp that I was drowning. In desperation, I raised my arm out of the water and swayed it back and forth, hoping to catch someone's attention and signal my distress. The water was about 2.5 feet over my head, so only my wrist and a bit below were visible as I struggled. Despite repeatedly attempting this method, I kept trying to push myself up for a breath. I soon realized that gathering breath was more crucial than screaming for help. The water was warm, and I sensed my body losing oxygen, recognizing the alarming process of dying. Eventually, I stopped panicking and started surrendering, easing into the process of letting go. Submerged under the water, I observed the feet and hands of kids doggy paddling around me, along with fragments of sand creating a beautiful wave-like motion. The water had a golden-hued brown color, surrendering to the process. I marveled at the beauty around me. Time felt suspended as I focused on the sand, illuminated by the sun, resembling beautiful diamonds. In this surreal moment, I felt detached from the visible world, thinking about how beautiful life is even in the face of death. I believed I existed in my own dimension, unseen by others. Despite being surrounded by fear and panic above water, I embraced the serene beauty beneath. As I continued surrendering to the process, I noticed my mother standing, scanning the surface, and a sense of panic radiating from her. Despite being underwater, I visually witnessed her distress. In a telepathic exchange with another realm, I acknowledged my mother's emotional fragility and decided to stay, feeling a responsibility to support her. With this choice, a woman came toward me, a memory vividly etched in my mind. I could see every detail of her. She wore a white bathing suit, a vintage style from the 30s or 40s, resembling a skirt. Her long white hair was neatly braided, extending into the water, and the ends of her braids swayed in a beautiful dance-like motion as she approached me. Suddenly, I felt myself being pulled out of the water, sensing a change in temperature on my skin. Even lifted out, I could still see my mother scanning the area, as if I had an aerial perspective, watching her run toward me, her energy and panic palpable. The woman holding me had a visible torso, but her face remained unseen. My mother eventually reached us, took me from the woman's arms, and brought me back to our blanket. Fortunately, I didn't need resuscitation, but catching my breath in the woman's arms was dense and painful. I returned fully to my body, no longer observing from an alternate angle. My mother questioned me about the incident, and I explained my attempt to imitate another girl jumping off the deck, feeling it was unsafe to stay. My mother approached the lifeguard, only to find him preoccupied with counting tips during the incident. Frustrated, my mother sought out the mysterious woman to express gratitude. However, despite my efforts to identify her, no family or woman approached us, and no one seemed aware of the life-saving act. This lack of recognition struck us as unusual and left us perplexed. There has always been a part of me that felt, when I chose to stay during that near-death experience, that a guide or guardian intervened, facilitating my choice. In that profound moment at such a young age, I learned about oneness, feeling connected and filled with love. I recognized myself as the fragments of sand, the sun hitting those fragments, the warmth of the water, and the golden hue surrounding me. This early lesson in universal connection didn't fully register at the time, but began to unfold in my life about 30 years later. The wisdom gained from that experience gradually transcended into various similar situations later in life, unfolding in remarkable ways. I became exceptionally sensitive to the energy and emotions of others, later discovering through a psychiatrist that I was clairsentient. The gift I believe I acquired from that near-death experience allowed me to be acutely attuned to others' emotions and energy. Initially, I confused others' feelings for my own, taking time to integrate this newfound knowledge. This experience resurfaced in my early 40s when I was living unconsciously, prompting a transformative recognition of the lessons and gifts acquired from the near-death encounter while waiting at the Vancouver, British Columbia border crossing into the United States. Stuck in a significant traffic delay, I pulled out a book on the Gene Keys. Next to me, a car played aggressive, loud, seemingly angry. I found myself becoming judgmental until a realization hit me. A thought within me cautioned against quick judgments, reminding me that the people in the car were reflections of myself. Watching them, I noticed their calm demeanor, quietness, and daydreaming, a stark contrast to the intense. This realization served as a lesson to avoid snap judgments and embrace understanding. The paradox struck me. Those individuals in the car weren't expressing energy and harmony with their surroundings. As I observed them, a sudden realization hit me. They are my brothers and sisters. A profound wave of insight and emotion, akin to my feelings during a past experience, washed over. It brought me back to that moment. Continuing to observe the people, I noticed the border crossing was set in a vast park with monuments and picnickers. As the car with loud music moved ahead, the scene unfolded, revealing young Asian and Black kids playing football nearby. They radiated joy, tossing the football, running, and catching it. My focus shifted to them, and I could see the smiles on their faces, feel their emotions, and sense a connection. In that instant, I recognized that I had lived their experiences before, almost as if I intimately knew them. A smile crossed my face, filled with love, curiosity, and compassion. As I scanned the entire family barbecuing, I felt their emotions as if they were my own. At this point, Time seemed to slow down, much like the near-death experience. I observed plants, trees, and wheatgrass swaying in slow motion, capturing the sunlight, similar to the fragments of sand in the water during the drowning incident. My observation continued, and I came across another family, Middle Eastern, radiating pride and love for their children. Enthralled, I felt their emotions, recognizing the interconnectedness of our existence. We were all fragments of the same source, choosing different experiences, yet fundamentally the same. I realized that by remaining sensitive and open, I could empathetically experience the emotions of others, because, fundamentally, we are one, fragments of the same state. I'm engulfed in an intense love, a sensation familiar from a past drowning encounter. Time slips away, mirroring the drowning episode, and the world around me gleams with beauty. I feel an intricate bond with the trees, plants, and swaying wheatgrass, realizing my integral connection to everything. It hits me. We're fortunate to exist, and the illusion of separation crafted by the ego is nothing more than a mirage. Despite feeling connected, there's no hint of loneliness. It's a constant awareness of our interdependence. I begin to witness energy, a light weaving through each person, the bushes, trees, and plants, forming an intricate and stunning labyrinth of interconnected light beams. It's an ineffable experience, brimming with deep emotions and love. In this epiphany, I integrate the lessons gleaned from the drowning episode. It all starts to fall into place, weaving into a deliberate plan. My vibration undergoes a shift, and I gradually return to a more grounded state. The wind picks up, and the grass sways in what feels like real time. That's when I realize my face and shirt are drenched. I've been sobbing from the overwhelming love. Words fail to encapsulate the beauty of this moment. In this realization, I grasped that this experience is intricately tied to the drowning incident. The drowning marked the initial encounter with oneness and the absence of separation. And now I anticipate numerous similar experiences in my life. The text appears to transition into a fragment toward the end. If there's more you'd like to add or clarify, please feel free to provide additional information.